Wow.
Good
It's been
crowd.
a great morning, huh?
You had fun?
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
You guys enjoy the morning so far? Nobody's hungry yet, are they? I am.
Yeah, a little bit. What do you think of those two guests?
Amazing.
Is that great stories?
Honestly, I was getting chills back there.
Yeah.
I just told Nick I forgot I was coming out because I was enjoying listening to them.
Isn't that, for you, the magic of forever?
Absolutely.
The driving force?
There's no doubt. And just to be clear, like with Kay, I got to work with her very closely in the very beginning. As you said, we went out there. So to see her develop into the great leader that she is today, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. She's wonderful. And all the great Mongolians, I love them.
Yeah.
And, go to the next one, Romania. I was there when we opened the office. I was up very late one night, 2, 3 in the morning, trying to teach Dora how to enter all the orders in the computer. So my heart goes out to Romania. I love them, and it's great to see people adding value to their lives like forever.
It's interesting when we were talking about those two countries, because I know that both of them are very dear to your heart.
Absolutely.
And in fact, Gabor and Dora, are you here?
We love you, Gabor and Dora!
Gabor! There's Gabor back there, look. You think about your life, Greg, over the last 30 years, you've spent a lot of late nights on planes, in people's offices, in people's homes. All of these things that, how many years now have you been actually employed in forever?
Over 30.
30 plus years, and you're only 26. How did that work out?
I keep drinking aloe.
Tell me a little bit about that. What keeps you up working? What keeps you getting back on the plane? What keeps you driving things forward? What keeps you, going through these days where we have more tough questions than easy ones?
Yeah, I would say exactly what we were just talking about.
Right.
Hearing the stories of these incredible people from where they came from, and to see where they are now with not just the power of forever, but they've learned the power of themselves and the self-confidence that people gain, and they start believing in themselves. There's no greater feeling than to understand you had maybe just a tiny, tiny little bit of piece of that, but to see people change like that is amazing to me. That gives me power.
It's amazing too. And we spent a lot of time together with all of the executives, and there's one thing that Greg always brings it back to is the people. Is we've got to keep this a great opportunity for everybody, everywhere, and that's our goal constantly. So we appreciate that example. But that example is you, of course, but it was set by Rex.
Absolutely.
You had the chance to grow up with Rex. None of us did. Tell us about that experience.
Well, there was some amazing times and some not so amazing times. No, it was unbelievable to be with Rex always. He was always the fun one to be with.
Just a minute.
My gosh. Where did
Are
you pull that one from?
Are you the one on the left? Oh, no. Look at that.
That's amazing, huh?
What was it like to get told off by Rex? He's like, did you ever wonder that when he snuck out of the house or drove the car too fast?
I was an angel. What are you talking about?
Yeah. maybe not. Was Rex as inspiring at home? Was he always driving? Were you always that way, or was there a part of him that we didn't ever get to see?
No, I think Rex is probably as genuine of a person as anyone I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. The way he is with you is the way he is with me, and the way he is at home. Rex is who he is. He is just honest, straightforward, loves to be with people, loves to have fun, loves a challenge, and I've learned so much from him, just as all of us have, and he's just an incredible person.
Excellent. One of the things I don't think that we discuss enough is this smooth transition that's happened with, Rex reaching a point in his life where he can't travel as much as he wants to, and you taking up the reins and, standing on stage and filling his shoes. How does that feel?
Well, those are big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I try not to fill them, because Rex is who Rex is. He is his own person. There's no way I will ever be like Rex. And by the way, Rex sends his love and says to all of you, I want to give you a big hug, and that you go on to be very successful in your business. He still cares much about you, talks about you all the time. And, so I've just tried to learn as much as I can from him, but most importantly, try to be myself.
Right.
And be who I am.
Yeah, and absolutely. Well done. Yeah, that's brilliant. And we see that. And it's just a fantastic transition. It's powerful, it's energetic, it's respectful, and it's stepping the legacy up to something really exciting for the future. A lot of stress, a lot of responsibility, and one of the questions that came through from these guys was, what keeps you up at night?
You.
Yeah.
I worry about you, Aiden. Gosh.
Hey, let's do this. For good and bad. We're excited about a lot of things too. We're staying up at night. It's not always negative. It could be excitement as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's a huge potential out there. I feel like Forever is just getting started. Even though we've already celebrated our 40th year and have succeeded and done many great achievements in our business. But there are just so many people out there that still have no idea about Forever and what we have to offer. And for me, that potential is that keeps me up at night, just thinking, how can we continue to share this wonderful thing we call Forever? So, as you know, we talk a lot about the future and how we're going to do that. And we have some exciting things that we're discussing right now. That's kind of secret, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to benefit all of you, and we are always looking towards the future, how we're going to expand Forever.
Absolutely. One of the things that Greg's kind of alluding to is we're constantly looking at ways to make the marketing plan work as effectively as possible for you, and that discussion is constant. There isn't a time, a day when we're together, we hang out together, we go on vacation together, and we talk about what? You. And that's a fact, right?
Absolutely.
Any of the guys and girls back there will tell you that the conversations always comes back to, how can we make this more effective? How can we make this work better? And that's a great example that you set. So here we are, 50. Both of us are 50 years old. One of the questions that came through was an interesting one. It said, what would 50-year-old Greg tell 20-year-old Greg when you started in Forever?
That's very interesting.
I know, yeah, when I read that, I thought, don't do it. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Actually, I would say probably be more patient.
Oh, yeah?
I think as a 20-year-old, I wanted things to happen now. Maybe it's the same way now, too. But, great things don't happen overnight sometimes. It takes a while you got to sacrifice a lot sometimes in order for that to come to pass. And I think it's a lot of that happens in our business when we're building it, especially when we get started. We want things to happen overnight, and we have to be patient. We have to go through the right process. We have to follow the right principles, and sometimes that takes time. But once we do it, we start to bear the fruits, and we understand, we did the right thing, and that patience was important. I think the other thing is, as a 20-year-old, that I didn't know it all. And the importance of learning, and continuing to learn all the time. And even at this young age of mine right now, I think the importance of continuing to learn and be better and understand things a little bit better is really important.
That self-discipline you have, and that's unbelievable, because you think it would have been easy for you to sit back and say, Rex did the work, but you're not like that at all. Constantly learning, constantly striving to get better, constantly. Like Greg and I were in India recently, and we were at an Accelerate training, and one of the things that Jane was teaching, one of our diamond managers, was to set some goals. And sorry mate, but I was reading over his shoulder, and Greg's writing goals. And Greg's listening to the training and writing his notes down to say, these are the things I want to improve in my life. And that is an amazing example that you set for all of us. Because, thank you. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Because I looked at my page and it was blank.
I don't think so.
No, and it was a great example that, you know, we can always continue to learn, and this patient thing is fantastic. Another question you get all the time: what's your vision? But let me change this around a little bit. Is what have you learned from the past that will make our future great?
Wow. Did that come from you or from someone else?
Well, the question was, what's your vision for the future? And we get that all the time, right? You know, what's your vision for the future? And we'll talk a little bit about investment now and stuff like that. But what have we learned over the last few years that enable us to make better decisions in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, you know, we have a lot of great things about Forever, a lot of things we've developed over the years, and a lot of things that we haven't changed for a while. But I think you come to a point where change is inevitable. And I think that happens to all of us in our lifetime. There are things that we must change. There are core principles we have that we don't change. For example, if you're honest, you don't become dishonest. You're always honest, right? But there are things that do evolve and that we do need to change. And I think one of them is sitting right here in front of us.
Right.
You know, it would have been easy to continue on with the old aloe vera gel bottle and continued that direction, but when we've come across something that's new science, new technology, advancements, we can't ignore that. We can't just say, oh no, this bottle's worked for us, we're going to continue that direction. We have to look in and we have to become better. We have to continue to improve always, and that motivates me a lot. I like to see challenges and say, what's the solutions to these? How are we going to overcome that? So how are we going to be better? How are we going to improve? And that's where this all came about. And as many of you know, we have the liter Tetra Paks, and some of you know we've had a few issues with those. So it doesn't always go exactly the way you think it's going to go. But we didn't stop there. We continued to find the solutions, and this 330 is an amazing product now that we have. And when you add that to what Gary said, the RG, adding the RG, if we all did that all around the world, I think our sales would double.
Oh, easy. Yeah, no doubt. Because we know that if you use 330, your people are drinking one of those a day. They used to be drinking 2 liters a month. One of those a day is
a third
more, right? So it's incredible to think about the power of the 330. The other thing too is this came about by wanting to take the preservative out of the product, right? We wanted to make the product better, so then we solved the problem with using this updated and technically sound packaging.
Absolutely.
What's Forever going to look like in the future?
Well, I can't give you the exact definition of it, but I can tell you, just as I said before, I think we have a huge potential. As you mentioned, we were just in India, and I'd never been in India before. Do we have Indians here with us today? We had an amazing time in India for our first time. Both of us for Forever, our first time in India. And, to realize there's 1.35 billion with a B people just in India was amazing to understand that and see that. And the potential that we have just in India to grow is enormous. And then you start to think about everyone else in the world. And really, that lit my fire when we were in India to say, oh my gosh, the potential for us to grow all around the world in every single country that we are in today is enormous. And I think Forever is going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to help people develop into better people. We're going to give them better health. And you know what? That's a great, great business opportunity for each one of us.
Perfectly said. So that's easy for you to say, right? It's easy for Greg to sit up here and say, this is what I think the future is going to look like. But there's an expression that says, put your money where your mouth is. And you've shown that with your investments. Technology. What kind of money are you spending on technology right now? Hope you're listening, Garen.
Yeah, you know, technology is the way of the future. There's no doubt. You can't ignore it. It's just like we said before, you can't sit back and say, oh, we're not going to do anything on the internet. We're not going to have these tools, because that's the way life is going. That's the way we're evolving. And so we're spending quite a bit of money right now on improving our investment, improving the website, as you've seen with Garen. Really appreciate Garen and the IT team. It's a difficult area sometimes. It's not as easy as, you know, people get on an app and they think that's a real easy thing. But to develop that app, it takes a lot of hard work and effort. And I appreciate our team that we have. I appreciate the fact that we were on a very old computer system, and we are now evolving that into what is current today and what will be current in the future. And I think that's very important for the future of our business.
And at the same time, still running the business.
Absolutely.
Someone said to us...
Can't stop.
No. Someone told us when we were talking about these improvements was, it's like changing the engine on an airplane when it's still flying. And they're doing a phenomenal job with that. So technology... social media, positive, negative, a blessing, a curse. What's your thoughts on that?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Bit of both?
But, you know, I think for the most part, I think it's a positive. I think it's a way for us to communicate to more people who Forever is and what we stand for. Obviously, we have to use it in the right way. There has to be a balance. It does not replace person to person ever. I mean, that is the most important and most powerful way that we can build our business and build relationships with others. You can't just do it online. Sure, it's a way to start maybe, but we have to get together and we have to build that bond, and I think that's what's really important. A balance.
Balance. You talk a lot about balance, and that's something that we're always striving for. Investment. We're vertically integrated. We own plant to product to you, and that's one of our USPs. We've got the aloe fields. Some of the investments that we're working on down there.
Yeah, Gary and I were just in the Dominican recently, not a couple months ago, and we're expanding the fields as we speak. One of the unique things we've done there, for many, many years, we would water the plants by sprinkling it. Wow. So a sprinkler head would sprinkle water, and we learned over the years, and especially down there it's so hot, that most of that water evaporates before it even hits the ground. So it wasn't watering the plants as effectively as it could be. So we started to lay down drip systems, sprinkler drip systems, and we now have most of our fields under drip systems, and we're seeing the plants grow bigger. There's more yield coming from them. So that's exciting news. Yeah. We're going to get bigger plants, more aloe from them, better aloe from them, and we're also expanding the plantations as we speak right now.
Something so small, you don't even think, you know.
Absolutely.
Change the way that the plants are watered, change the way the plants are cut, change the way they're stored, all these things, you know. It's incredible. That leads on to Ava. Aloe Vera of America, which you'll all see tomorrow.
Yes.
You get a quick tour around that. Some of the things you're working on there.
Yeah, in fact, we spent the day there on Tuesday with the team. We have an amazing team there. They're very dedicated. They're excited to see you guys come through and see the facility here in Dallas. We continue to invest and try to make our equipment, our technology, our research and development. We've added a lot of new people that have come into that department to help us with new products, improving the old products. So there's been a lot of investment at Aloe Vera of America, and we continue to look where we can improve there.
And exactly the same in nutraceutical, right?
Absolutely.
What you just said is the same. Forever Nutraceuticals are a wholly owned manufacturing facility that's in Phoenix. So when you get to Phoenix, you go to the home office. Just down the street, you'll get a tour of Forever Nutraceutical as well.
I think what's unique about these facilities too is not just the machinery or the techniques or the way we're doing things, and it's like Wally and some of the other scientific advisory board members had told us when they had come through the facilities and met the people are amazing that work for us. They are, you would think it's just a job for them, but it's really like an FBO who bleeds forever. These guys who work at our facility love forever. They want the very best for you guys, and I think you'll see that tomorrow when you meet them.
Fantastic. Well done. When we started and we were talking about what drives you, I know that how dedicated you are to the staff around the world as well. And there's one thing that Greg and I are planning quite a busy trip for January, and one of the things he said to me, he says, I want to go to the offices, and the sole purpose is to see the people, see our staff, and to thank them for their hard work. And
absolutely,
I'm always grateful for that example. You talk about balance all the time in your life. They've seen Greg as the president of Forever, and what about the other Greg? What do you do for fun?
There's another guy?
There's the other side. What do you do for fun?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about this with the leaders, especially with the GLT, because over the years, I've got to meet all the top leaders of Forever and get to know them, and I noticed that the ones that are, they're super excited about the business, and they get on this role of working 24/7 almost, and they can't turn it off. And I noticed where that can only last a certain amount of time.
Right.
And they get burnt out, and some of them have left, and I've never seen them again. And I hate to see that, and I think I've learned through that process the importance of balance in your life, and because you got a family, you got friends, you got things you love to go do, and really what Forever should do is support you enjoying that part of your life even more, not taking it away from you. And so I've really learned the importance of having that balance. For me, of course, I have 4 kids. Most of them are grown up now and are doing their own thing, but I'm very, as much as I can, be involved in their lives and what they're doing, and that's very important to me. I love to have fun, as you know.
Right, yeah, we love that.
And part of my fun is to be outdoors. I'm a little bit of a cowboy in my heart, and I love to ride horses. Rex grew up being a rancher, so we have ranches in the family, and I love there I am in Mongolia.
Yeah, that's a Mongolian horse, by the way.
So, I love, I travel a lot. I work a lot. I love to work, but I also love to have fun. And I think that's important for each one of you, is find a hobby that you love to do and make sure that your business is helping to support that hobby. And you have time to go do that hobby, because you will love to get back and work even harder once you've done that hobby. And that's what's so important, and help you to become even more successful.
Well, great advice. Thank you.